To the audience, but I'm talking to you now.
Tell them to say hi.
Everybody say hi. I know you were in here earlier today. Okay, should I just hold on and wait or go back to Zoom?
Go back to Zoom.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's happening.
It's happening.
It is happening. Okay.
You may.
To the audience, but I'm talking to you.
Tell
Oh,
them to say hi.
should I mute myself? I know you were in here earlier today. Okay. How do I just hold on and wait or go
No,
back
go
to
over to
Zoom?
the left. It's on the left. There's how many
Okay.
big. So
I just want to make sure it's okay. It is happening. Okay.
you may.
To the audience. What do I do? Oh,
You gotta find
should
the
I mute
audio.
myself? I know you were in here earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I just hold on and wait or
Right
go
there.
back
See
to
it?
Zoom?
So, big.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Here we are. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Okay, let's start from the top again. I am Dr. Alicia. We're coaching with Dr. Alicia. In case y'all don't know, I'm a therapist. I am a social worker. I am a college professor, and I am here to talk to everybody about how we are going to grow. Yes, how we're going to grow in our relationships, how we are going to expand and develop into a way that's healthy relationships. And to do that, you really need to take some information from this man named David Rico, which I think is spot on in his analysis about how we can be an adult in relationships. This book is all about from finding a partner to dealing with conflict to saying goodbye to someone in a peaceful way, in a way that's mindful, because I think we get a lot of examples of how to deal with relationships, but it is not mindful. It's reactive. You're triggered. You going after people. You talking, you know, just acting out of rage and anger. And of course, it's okay to feel these things, but definitely you do not want to be in a position where you are being ruled by this childhood things coming at you. So being an adult in a relationship is so important, and that's what we're talking about today. More specifically, we are talking about jealousy, how to deal with jealousy in a mindful way in relationships. And then we're going to switch gears and talk about infidelity, how to deal with infidelity. What do you do? How do you deal with infidelity in a mindful way? I think that's so important for us to really think about that and come up with ways to handle it. What should your mindset be? What should you think about? And how do you deal with this in a way that is adult, not childish? Okay. So anyway, I want to, before we start, I just want to know how many of y'all been jealous in a relationship? Let me know. Wait, I'm gonna put the chat up here. How many of you guys have been jealous? Hey, look, tell me here, say, I see your name, but tell me where you're from. Minnesota? We got somebody from Minnesota. How you doing from Minnesota? Cleveland, Sherelle from Cleveland. Never? Robin, don't tell me you've never been jealous. You've never felt jealousy. I don't know. Hey, Lori from New Jersey, Juanita from Alabama. That's what's up. I was just in Alabama not too long ago. NYC, New Jersey, Los Angeles. Good grief. We got the East Coast, West Coast, we got the South, we got the North. We got all sorts of people. Mississippi. Yes, Cricket Letter, Mississippi. Chi-Town, that's what's up. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. I can't really say Chicago. Seattle. We got all four corners of United States. West Virginia. What's up, West Virginia? How y'all doing? Knoxville, Tennessee. That is so beautiful. Texas. We from all over the place. Let me tell you, Rashidat Turner. Y'all been jealous? Compton. That's what's up. Any of y'all been jealous in a relationship? Come on. What is jealousy? Jealousy is when you think somebody might take your man, or you worried about whether somebody gonna take your girl. What's up? Yes, Indianapolis. Okay, so we got some honest people in here. About jealousy. Yeah, thank you, Angela. You're so smart. It definitely is it's human nature. It's what happens. So we're going to begin today to talk about jealousy. I'm curious about how you guys dealt with it. How did you guys deal with jealousy? What'd you do? You were jealous. What'd you do? Did you not say anything? Did you hold it inside? Did you talk about it with your partner? Did you call your girlfriend up and talk to your girlfriend about it? Did you go to therapy over it? How did you deal with jealousy? Okay, Michael from Purdue. Okay, I went to Indiana. That's our rival, by the way. Indiana University and Purdue, that's our rival. But y'all are doing much better than us in basketball. But anyway, Sheila says you have to learn to trust. How did you get there, Sheila? How did you almost killed somebody? That's right. Somebody trying to take your man. I don't know if Ty is I don't know. Jealousy is human. Yes. How did you deal with the ever human feeling of jealousy? A lot of people bury it down. Some people feel shame. You held it in. Regina held it in. Angela said, as an adult, I talked with the person and prayed about it so it wouldn't fester. Oh, that's interesting. You confronted it. Oh, how did you confront it, Lori? I'm wondering. Ty says, I hate it. Jealousy is a really a very interesting emotion. We're going to talk about jealousy first. And I don't know if this is your first time with me, but we've been going through, look at this. We've been going through so much of this book. We're on chapter 6 of this book. Paige internalized it. You asked him about it. Let me tell you, Ashley, you feel like something going on. It's something about women's intuition. It will wake you up in the middle of the night at 3 in the morning. You'd be like, hold on, what's going on? You have this intuition. So how do you know if it's intuition or not? What's up with that? If you feel like it's intuition, sometimes it's intuition, sometimes it's something else. So we never know. You're talking to yourself. Jealousy is a disease, huh? Dreams, Ty. Ty, you had a dream about it? And interesting, interesting. You dreamt about it. So we're going to get started there first in talking about jealousy. If you're joining me for the first time, y'all know you can get this book in paper copy. I prefer the paper copy because I'm old. I'm older, but you can also get there's a Kindle version, and then there's also the audiobook. And then I think there's a hard copy of the book. But whatever it is, try to see if you can get the book because I think it'd be really nice for you guys to go along. I like the paper copy because I prefer writing in the margins. It's just how I learned how to read long time ago. So some of y'all millennials in here, y'all probably can use like the digital copy. But anyway, I like this copy, and we are going to start on page 175. And 175 is all about jealousy. Well, let's see how we measure up because I'm thinking about, I have been jealous before, and I'm thinking about how I dealt with it. So, So let's see. Think about a jealous situation that you've been where you felt jealous. Think about how you handled it. Also, think about how you handled it if a loved one came to you and said they were jealous about something. How did y'all deal with that? If someone came to you and said, I'm feeling, it's so interesting. Usually, when someone comes to you and they feel jealous, they're not going to say, I feel jealous. They're going to say, I'm not comfortable with this, or I'm kind of worried about this. They'll come and they may not use the word jealousy, but sometimes you can decipher and be like, this is jealousy. Are you feeling jealous? Sometimes that could be the situation. So, anyway, they act out and hate on you. Okay, Riley. Interesting. Interesting. So that's what happened when someone was jealous of you or jealous because of you. Okay, but let's see what David Rico says in terms of how to be an adult in relationships and how to deal with jealousy. All right, so here on page 175 of chapter 6, and the title, by the way, of chapter 6 is Fears Rush In and Dangers Too. Fears Rush In and Dangers Too. Common things in relationships. Okay, to begin, John Milton calls jealousy the injured lover's hell. It is hell feeling jealous of a situation, the injured lover's hell. But we can turn it into something a little better, purgatory. It's a purgatory to be jealous. Say, when we work with it as grief, we work with it as grief. Jealousy is a combination of three things: hurt, anger, and fear. Hurt, anger, and fear. That's what jealousy is. A combination of feeling hurt, feeling angry, and fear. We are hurt and angered by a perceived betrayal. We don't know for sure if it's happened. It's a perception of betrayal. Is this person going to betray me? I feel like this person might betray me. Perceived betrayal. We are scared by the possibility of losing a source of nurturance and of never being able thereafter to find another. Oh, it could be you could be in a relationship with someone you really are fond of. You're like, you are one of a kind. How am I going to ever find somebody like you? And what if this other person takes you from me? That's what jealousy is. The paranoid belief that makes jealousy so poignant. That's what makes jealousy so poignant. Like you're so in love with somebody and you start to get worried. Is this person a threat? Is this other person outside of my relationship a threat? So, jealousy stands at the threshold of grief. Grief is the loss. It is possible when you get into a relationship with someone, it is possible that they will leave you. That's all a possibility, not probable, but it is possible that somebody that you love could leave you. And that's the potential of grief, this loss. And when you feel like this grief, potential grieving process of a loss is upon you, you feel like this could possibly happen. Just that in and of itself changes you. It changes who you are, and it also changes the dynamic of the relationship because of your insecurities. It's the perception. That's what jealousy is, the perception that this is all going to go bad. This person's going to leave me for someone else. I'm not good enough. Perception. Okay. Which our ego does not let us cross. An ego. That's interesting. Okay. Instead of weeping in sadness or fear, our arrogant, affronted, possessive ego enters the fray and we lash out in blame, engaging in abuse instead of healthy anger as we declare our indignation about the perceived betrayal. It hasn't even happened. Perceived. Thank you, Mahasan Tariq. Perceived betrayal. Woo! How many songs have been written? I'm thinking about the Brandy. Is it Brandy and Monica song? The boy is mine. The boy is mine. I'm thinking about that song. Um, yeah, I mean it's the ego. Your ego says that's my man. Ain't nobody gonna take my man. That is my man. The boy is mine. That's ego. The boy is mine. Thank you, Ginger. That is the ego response. You feel like he is mine. Can another person really be yours? Or even men. Men say that men can be possessive and jealous, tendency to be jealous. And he's talking about how it can move into abusiveness, to want to control somebody, pin them down because you're scared about what happened. So, yeah, we got plenty of hit songs. That wasn't just like a regular song, that song was a hit song. That song's all about jealousy. The boy is mine, all about your ego. Hmm. They fighting over it. Okay. Ego-driven jealousy exposes our possessiveness, our dependency, our resentment to another's freedom, our refusal to be vulnerable. Refusal to be vulnerable. Very interesting. Refusal to be vulnerable. So instead of paying attention to some of your insecurities, what you do is you point the finger to someone else outside. Yes, that song Woman to Woman. Well, that's more than a perceived jealousy. There was actually something was going on. That's the next section. Thank you, Donna. Woman to Woman. That's the song we will reference in the next section. But that's interesting. A good way of dealing with it is not to be possessive, but perhaps to be vulnerable and say, let's see, what are the three things? I'm hurt, I'm angry, and I'm fearful. Why not say that to your partner? Why not say to your partner, I'm scared. I'm scared you're gonna leave me for somebody else. And that's what's coming up for me right now. Not that you act on it, you just say it in a mindful way. I'm scared. I am, I'm scared you're gonna hurt me. Some of these fears make it so that a lot of people don't even get into a relationship to begin with. They're afraid. Don't be afraid of the way you feel. That's what happened. There's another song, beautiful song, right? So, yeah, instead of being vulnerable, you are going to instead be possessive. Possessiveness is all about ego, where vulnerability is about being an adult, being vulnerable. Okay. I see where he's going. Deep down, we know we are not really democratic, not really free of the old style of hierarchical ownership in relationships. Not really ready to admit our fear of facing the sometimes harsh conditions of the relationship. Harsh conditions of the relationship. That is abandonment. I talked about that last week. All of you all who were there last week, I talked about abandonment last week. Engulfment, I talked about that. And betrayal is a new one. Betrayal. What does Patricia say? Some people get taken advantage of when we transparent. Yeah. You don't need to parent each other, but you parent yourself. Don't need to parent somebody else. You parent yourself. I think that's where David Rico is going in this book, parenting yourself, but you definitely want to don't hide your feelings, speak your piece. What's coming up and deal with that. So yes, thank you, Patricia. That's beautiful. We ain't trying to parent nobody. Everybody in a relationship is responsible for your own feelings. And being responsible for them is to recognize it and to vocalize it to your significant other. That is the adult way. So if this ain't your first time joining me, you already know this because we've been talking about this for months now. We've been talking about this. All right, let's see. Where did I leave off? I always lose my space. Okay. Yeah. So we are harsh conditions. These are the harsh conditions of a relationship. Abandonment, afraid somebody's going to leave you. And the difference, last week we talked about the difference between abandonment and just somebody left you. As an adult, you can never really be abandoned. Someone leaves, but abandonment is what you attach to that. So last week I talked about that. Engulfment is the fear that someone's trying to pin you down. Like, how does it feel for somebody to say to you, you my girl, you mine, and nobody else can have you? Ooh, that can be engulfing. That could be too smothering, right? And then betrayal. That means someone's telling you one thing, but going behind your back and doing something different. That's a terrible experience. That's a very harsh condition in a relationship. The feeling of abandonment, being smothered, and having someone say one thing to you and then go behind your back and do something totally different. That is betrayal. Those are harsh conditions. Our ego demands that our partner save us. Our ego demands that our partner save us. Stop doing what I do not want to grieving for the possibility that the relationship could end. Just the thought of it. It is perfectly normal reaction at first. But as we address the feelings of jealousy, process the feelings of jealousy, and resolve our true feelings of abandonment, because that's what jealousy is. Jealousy is attached to abandonment. And as a result of not wanting to be abandoned, you can engulf the other person, which is really recreates the abandonment. Because yes, if Juanita is in a relationship and a man is smothering her, and he's scared she's gonna abandon him. What's Juanita gonna do? Juanita's probably gonna leave him. He's creating the very conditions of him to make it happen. Juanita, if you are claustrophobic, you don't like all that, that's how you're gonna react. Patricia, teenage love. There's so many. I am Patricia. You bring up something really great. Teenage love is troubling. I almost thought about doing a whole program around teenagers and dating because I have never seen a group of people that feel like because they're in a relationship with somebody that they need to always share their location. Like, why does a man need to know your location all the time? Anybody got teenagers in the house? And I'm like, that's not healthy. You shouldn't let your boyfriend or your girlfriend track your location. Like, the heck is going on with these relationships? And that's a normal thing, by the way. And I have I used to have a lot of teenagers in my practice, but back when I had a bunch of teenagers in my practice, and this is across racial lines, I was like, listen, turn off turn off your tracking. Do not let your boyfriend track you. Like that's not healthy. Thank you. Yeah, Kendrick, I thought that was toxic. Like no one, I don't feel the need to track my husband. He tells me where he is, and I go, okay, that's where you are. What am I do? I don't even have the time to track somebody else's I track my children's location only when they're out the house. But even though I can see it, I never look at their location. I don't know. It's just crazy. And it's normal in these relationships. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so here's what you do. It is perfectly normal reaction at first, but as we address, process, and resolve our true feelings of jealousy, we see where our work is. We see where our work is. We acknowledge our pain, find somebody to mirror our pain, and stay with it until it is resolved. Now, hopefully, if you're in a healthy relationship and you're really connected to your partner, you can process all of that with your significant other without that other person taking it personal. Or if you have a partner who's feeling jealous, maybe a little insecure, you can really help to process that with them. You can listen, without judging, you can validate how they feel. That doesn't mean you agree with it. You can listen and you can validate it and help to process it. Or you can do it with another person, of course. Our partner may not be able to help with this, but therapy, friends, and support systems can assist in getting past our ego to face our vulnerability. The dearest gift of human love, being vulnerable in a relationship, according to David Rico, is a gift of human love. Human love. It's a gift. Is it possible that your partner could leave you? Yes, that is possible. Is it possible that you may grieve the end of a relationship? That's always possible. There's no guarantee. No relationship is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. And it doesn't even make sense for you to try to control it. So you embrace that. You just embrace it and learn how to be comfortable with that possibility. It is possible that the relationship could end. Everything must change. Nothing ever stays the same, which is another one of my favorite songs. So that is possible, and it is the conundrum of human love. Jealousy challenges our power to stay open and centered. Even though feelings of jealousy come up and you can vocalize it, you can help to process it, you still need to stay open and you still need to stay centered. Hmm. Who, without blame or withdrawal, in the midst of rejection, the possibility of rejection, even if someone rejects you. What if you're dating and somebody's just, they're interested in someone else and they're not interested in you? It's okay. You could feel jealous. The person is gone from you, but you still need to learn how to stay open and how to stay centered throughout going through rejection. I think out of all the feelings in the world, of all the situations in the world, all the harsh circumstances in the world, rejection is probably the worst. I don't know. Personally, I don't know anything worse than rejection. And I do, like, people say no to me sometimes. And I just go, ouch, that hurts. I actually say, ouch. Like, I'm like, ooh, that hurts. And then I always like sometimes I'll intellectualize and rationalize in my head. Well, is something else better for me? A no means a yes to something different. I rationalize it in my head, but really I need to just connect with that pain of being rejected and then move on. Then move on. Connect with the pain first, I say. Okay. To go through it rather than simply bolster our ego shows us a path to maturity and liberation. Woo! To go through it rather than bolster our ego shows us a path to maturity and liberation. Nothing is going to challenge you than the whole issue of rejection. Oh my goodness. The whole issue of rejection, nothing is going to challenge you. And that is the time where you really need to grow. You need to deal with that in a positive way. So, jealousy challenges our power to stay open and centered. Our power to stay open and centered. Nobody else controls you and what you're doing. You have the power to stay open and centered yourself. That's what jealousy challenges you. Without blame or withdrawal, in the midst of rejection, even in the midst of rejection, you have the power to stay open and centered. Nobody else. Don't give your power to anybody else. To go through it rather than simply bolster our ego. Bolstering your ego is like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? What? That's my man. You took my man. I'm going to get you. I'm going to fight you. How many times have women gone after each other because their man is with somebody else? Like that's that's my man. Bolstering your ego by fighting the other lady. I don't know why people do that because it's the guy that, if anything, or if anything, you need to look at yourself. So to go through it rather than simply bolster our ego shows us a path to maturity and liberation. It's happened to you. You are feeling jealous because you need the opportunity to mature and you need to learn the lesson of liberation. That's what jealousy means. Were y'all expecting to hear that today? I don't know. He said it. After all, experiences like jealousy are the ones that make us learn to let go so we can grow. Let go. Let go of it so we can grow. Hmm. Let go so we can grow. At first, we may hate the one who makes us let go. We don't want to let go. We want to hold on to this person. Oh my gosh. But as our feelings are resolved, we become thankful that we found out how much our partner, when we found out so much about our partner and ourselves, about our partner and ourselves. Jealousy shows us that no matter how indomitable we may imagine ourselves to be, we are still fragile and childlike underneath. Don't try to act like you're not. Sometimes we are child fragile underneath. Jealousy shows us that no matter how indomitable we may imagine ourselves to be, we are still fragile and childlike underneath. Jealousy can thus deflate our ego, a giant spiritual step. So if you feel jealous, number one, that tells us it is a wonderful opportunity to mature. Feeling jealous is a gift of maturity. Feeling jealous is a gift and a lesson of liberation. And also, feeling jealous is a giant step in your spiritual development. All about possession. What do you possess? What can you control? You can't control nobody. You can't control like you. What you gonna do? Follow your man around all day, every day? What you gonna do? You can't do that. That's not possible as an adult. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put a tracking device on there, a recording device. What you gonna do? Nothing you can do. It's a harsh reality of a relationship. It is always possible. Magnum PI. Riley, Riley. Yeah, what you gonna do? Get a hire a PI firm to investigate, call what's that show? Cheaters. Call cheaters and have cheaters run something. Like you can't do that is childish. You don't need cheaters. You need to get yourself together. So it's a giant spiritual self because it is a lesson for you to learn you can't control everything and you don't own anybody. The only thing you can control is yourself. Control what you do, how you respond, what you say and do. That doesn't mean staying in the relationship because you can control that. Maybe, maybe that's not the one for you. Maybe there is a grief that needs to happen. That's frightening, by the way, being on the receiving end of somebody being jealous and stalking you. That's frightening. That's a frightening experience. Okay. A final note on jealousy. Okay, he's going to wrap up jealousy at this point. Using straight men as the example. He's using y'all fellas, y'all straight fellas, straight men. They might gawk at another woman in the presence of their wives or partners. Ooh, that's rude. How you gonna be gawking at some woman and I'm sitting right there? What's that about? Anyway, not that I would be jealous. I think I would be more like, dang, that's not the most respectful thing to do. But anyway, um, okay, so using straight men as example, they might gawk at other women in the presence of their wives or partners. This may cause the partner unnecessary and understandable pain or jealousy. Yeah, you're causing pain or jealousy. The turn head feels like a dismissal or abandonment. Yeah. A man can exercise, a man can exercise custody over his roving eye while in the company of a wife or partner, or in not in the company of a wife. Even if we in a committed relationship, don't you be looking at other people. You're disrespecting me looking at other people, even when I'm not around, but it's particularly when you are around. The excuse, I can't help it, is not acceptable from an adult. That's why, Patricia, a man ain't gonna do that. A little boy who happens to be grown, a grown little boy might do that. We have the right to look at our heart's content at those we find attractive. But when a partner is present, the better part of love and caring is eyes front. That's how you love and care for your partner. Your eyes are front. This can also apply to women toward men gay toward gay men, gay women toward women, and other variations. And there he goes. That's how he talks about jealousy. Now, does that what y'all did? Did any of you guys who said you felt jealous, did you deal with it that way? Did you talk about it, process it, think about it, and understanding that it's a spiritual growth process and it's a lesson on liberation, not control, letting go of the ego? Did y'all do none of that? Lori was like, I did none of that. Did y'all do that stuff? Well, now you know. Now you know what to do. Anyway, how y'all feeling? Before I go into infidelity, let me check on my friends and on YouTube. Let me see how YouTube is doing. Where is YouTube? Oh Lord Jesus. I don't know how to look at this. Maybe YouTube is here. Okay, I see everybody on YouTube. How y'all doing? Everybody in YouTube land. Hello. I think I'm going to be able to put in here. I don't see how I can do a banner on YouTube. No, I don't see. There's no banner. But I guess that's okay. That's all right. We don't have to have a banner. Anyway, hello YouTube. How you doing? If y'all want to get into everyone on YouTube, if you want to get into the Zoom, because I'm recording on Zoom, you have to text the word love, LOVE, to 87948 and you'll get an invitation. But I'm going back to Zoom. So I just wanted to check in on Zoom, see how everybody is doing on Zoom. Okay. All right. So moving on, I want to see and talk about infidelity. Infidelity. So let's move it on. Oh my goodness, infidelity. So how many of y'all been cheated on? Come on, yes, no. How many of y'all been cheated on? Real men don't cheat. That's right, Rally. Real men don't cheat. Boys cheat. Yes. How many? I see. Is the hands raised because y'all been cheated on? Woo, boy. How many of y'all cheat? How many of y'all have cheated on somebody? How many of y'all just was juggling men, juggling women, or was in a committed relationship, in a marriage? How many of you guys were married and cheated on your partner? I'd like to know, how did you all deal with that? He earned it. Some of y'all say he earned it. I appreciate you guys for disclosing. Oh, you've been cheated on. Whew, that's painful. Yes, unfortunately, horrible. You talking about the harsh conditions of human love is infidelity. One of the very harsh conditions of human love. Oh boy, boy. What did y'all do? How'd y'all deal with it? What you do? Never been cheated, never cheated on someone, but I've been cheated on. Oh gosh, Hamila, thanks for talking about that. After we separated, I technically did. Oh, if it's after a separation, you let go anyway. I don't know. Y'all got divorced. Lori said, I'm done. I'm left that man or woman. I don't know who you're married to. I can't assume. Oh, somebody got fisticuffs. Y'all physically fought somebody. I cheated when I was 16. Okay. You were 16, I felt horrible. Okay, you feel horrible. How do y'all deal with that? Let's see. So think about a time where, okay, if you've been cheated on, think about that. Easy to think about that because I think it's very devastating to be cheated on. Talk about grief. It's a grief process for sure. I think most of my exes have cheated on me. Oh, goodness, Riley. Oh, not a good feeling. Yes, there's a traumatized moment. Okay, I see y'all. You regret it. You were 19. You still regret it, Lori. Yeah, there's some feelings of regret. That makes sense. You feel regret. You've been on both sides of the. So Jacqueline's like, I've been on both sides. I've been cheated on. I have cheated on somebody else. It's definitely, so Ashley's good. It's definitely a grief. So today, right now, we about to learn how to be an adult when you've been cheated on. What's the most mindful way? How to deal with that? Y'all know how to deal with it? Okay, we're going to talk about it. We are on page one. What page is this? 197? No, 177. Page 177 of the paper copy I don't know what it is in the other copy. Cheated with cheated with my cousin and my other cousin friend. Oh, and she had to go. Oh, he cheated with your cousin and your other cousin friend. Woo, gosh, Sherelle, yeah, he had to go. You cried and moved forward. Okay, Donna, interesting. So we got all sorts of different reactions to cheating. Most people just left them, move forward. Can a man love two women? Thank you, Linda. We're gonna find out what are revelation. I think polygamy is something that on theory, polygamy makes sense. Theoretically, on paper. Um, it is possible to be polygamous. I think technically, I think it's called polyamory because technically you can't be married to two people at the same time. I think that's illegal in most cases. Even Utah outlawed polygamy. So I think technically polygamy is illegal, but um, being in a I guess polygamous style relationship, it is possible. I've seen it be very abusive because polygamy is supposed to be open. Polygamy is supposed to be all about openness. Polyamory is supposed to be about openness. It's supposed to be about honesty, transparency. That's the way it's supposed to be. I haven't seen that be accomplished in my practice. I do have some polygamous couples, and it's hard to see that in practice. But anyway, um, okay, let's move on. Let's see what David Rico says about um, being an adult and infidelity. Page 177. Okay. The conventional paradigm has been if you play by the rules, then you deserve a faithful spouse and a stable relationship. So that's what we think. That's naive, by the way. You think because you're playing by the rules, you did everything you need to do, then you are going to have a faithful spouse and a stable relationship. That's what we think. And Norman, yes, you're correct. It's supposed to be consensual and yeah, or a throuple. Even a throuple needs to be consensual. I'm watching 90 Day Fiance and it's a throuple going on right now. It's very fascinating about rules of the relationship. So you can still cheat and still be in a non-monogamous relationship. Anyway, okay. You're laughing about the throuple. Okay, such a promise endangers a sense of entitlement. So you feel like because I did everything I was supposed to do, I was being the wonderful wife that I'm supposed to be. I am entitled to having a partner who's going to live up to those expectations. That's what you think. Sometimes someone who was always faithful will have an especially hard time dealing with abandonment or infidelity. Somebody leaving you, somebody cheating on you, they're going to have a hard time. I'm always faithful. I'm always this way toward my spouse, and I'm going to expect that in return. That's a little naive. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Someone who's always faithful will have a especially hard time dealing with abandonment. He left you. Or infidelity. He cheated on you, or she cheated on you, or she left you. Her ego feels affronted. How dare you? No, you're clutching your pearls. I never clutching your pearls. Okay. Um, her ego feels affronted. With the possible result of long-lived and frustrating bitterness against the offending partner. So you are forever embittered and frustrated. You can never get over it against that partner. You hold it against him all the time. I thought I would be taken care of forever, not cast aside for someone else. How dare you? Hmm. The deepest pain and infidelity may hit us when we recognize he does have the five A's to give. but he is giving them to someone else. What's the 5 A's? Anybody know what's the 5 A's? He does have affection to give. He does have attention to give. He does have allowance to give. He does have, yes, thank you, Jen, acceptance. He has appreciation. He has all of those 5 A's of mindful loving. He just ain't mindfully loving you. He's mindfully loving somebody else. So he does have it to give. Ouch, that hurts. But he giving it to somebody else. Oh boy. Ooh, that hurts. I received them from him at first. Okay, I'm certain he used to give it to you at first, and then saw them vanish. So a man is love bombing you at first, we could say, or an initial, that falling in love, if y'all remember. How many of y'all were there? What was it, chapter 3? Chapter 3? No, yeah, chapter 3, finding a partner. Finding a partner is so easy to give the 5 A's. But sometimes you watch them vanish. You watch the 5 A's slowly go away. I waited for those 5 A's to reappear in him. I wanted him to give me that again, like he did at the beginning of the relationship. I wanted him to give me this. But when he did, he was in someone else's arms. So this is the thinking that you're having. How come he didn't give me the attention that he gave that other person? What was wrong with me that he could not talk to me and open up to me and accept me and allow me and show me the affection? He's given it to someone else. That hurts. How dare you? I'd be clutching my pearls too. How dare you do that? I've been a good wife to you. You know, that's what people say. Infidelity is a State of the Union address, forcing us to see the truth about our relationship. That's what infidelity does. In adult relationships, you need to see infidelity as an opportunity to see the truth in a relationship. There are some things that you have not been able to face about the relationship, and infidelity is a way to confront the truth in the relationship. Did y'all do that? Okay, everybody just said they had been cheated on. Did y'all address it that way? Did y'all say, oh, my partner was unfaithful? Maybe we need to talk about a truth in our relationship. Did y'all do it that way? Elizabeth is being honest. No, Elizabeth did not do it. Oh, you cheated on me. Maybe there's something we need to address in our relationship. Oh my gosh. No one did it that way. I guarantee you, nobody did it that way. But that's what he's saying. Infidelity is a State of the Union address, forcing us to see the truth about our relationship. Triangles form in the psyche when a dyad is in trouble. So you and your partner are in trouble. That's when the third person comes in and you do not deal with it. When we do not want to let go of the original partner, so you could just have problems in your marriage and decide to let that partner go. But sometimes maybe you want to hang on a little more. So you don't want to let go of your original partner, but instead only make the unlivable livable. Fellas, how many of y'all do that? How many of y'all think about that? This part that my wife, my significant other, is unbearable, unlivable, but I gotta somehow maintain. I feel I feel indebted to this person because they have children. You have children with them. You got a mortgage with them. You got car note. You got all these things to do, but you're in a situation that's unlivable. So you just get another person so that it can seem livable. Did you deal with it that way? Hmm. Prenups. It all depends. I'm not a hard yes. on prenups? I think it depends. Okay. And Linda's saying women, we just love too hard. We just in trouble. Okay, so you're making the unlivable livable by putting a third person in there. The third angle may take the form of an adult lover, a crisis, an addiction. Actually, I know a lot of people who go to addiction. Ladies, how many people you mad at your partner and you go shopping? Shopping addictions is a great way of dealing with the fact that there may be some issues in the relationship that you're not dealing with. So use retail therapy. How many people are just addicted to other things? Sometimes addiction can come in, and so forth. Can we confront the dyadic issue without creating another angle? So what he's saying is that the question you need to ask is that can we confront our issues in the relationship instead of bringing in a third person or bringing in a third addiction or bringing something else into it to make what's unlivable more bearable? I can't deal with it. What makes this situation bearable is that I'm going to just go buy something nice. And then I could just sweep it under the rug. That's really what you're doing, sweeping the initial issues between you and another person under the rug instead of dealing with it or saying goodbye to that person respectfully. You get a third, you create a triangle. That's what he's saying. You get an angle. So, how can we confront the dyadic issues without creating another angle, without deflecting? Sometimes people have another child, do anything than to deal with the issue at hand in the relationship. Infidelity is always a mutual, not an individual issue. How many of y'all thought about that? That infidelity is a mutual, not an individual issue. It's a mutual issue. One partner is not the victim, nor is the other the persecutor. One partner is not the issue. It's a mutual issue, Riley, not addressing what's happening between you and the other person. The affair is not the disturbance, but a symptom of disturbance. The affair is not the disturbance, it is a symptom of a disturbance between you and another person. That's true. Yes, it's a symptom of the disturbance. The other man or other woman does not cause distance, but is being used to achieve distance. Can't blame the other person. That woman didn't take your man. That man didn't take your woman. So be it. That other person is not the cause of the distance. It is used to achieve distance. The affair is not an individual issue. It's highlighting that there's an issue in the relationship that has been swept under the rug and not resolved. Hmm. Did y'all deal with it that way? Any of y'all dealt with it that way? Any of y'all say, wait. My partner was not faithful. That is a signal. First of all, did you ever say, this means that there's some truth about our relationship that we need to deal with? And did you secondly think, okay, this is a signal that there's something unaddressed between me and this other person? Did y'all deal with it like that? Jen says, yeah. Some people say no. Okay. That other person, that other man, that other woman does not cause the distance, but is being used to achieve distance. Infidelity seems to point to what our offending partner lacks, but actually may reveal what we are afraid to show. What are we afraid to show? Vulnerability. We're afraid to show tenderness, playfulness, generosity, free abandon in sex. A frustrated partner finds someone else to colonize the empty space rather than address it or grieve its emptiness directly. So that's what happens. Instead of grieving the fact that your relationship is not operating the way it needs to operate, instead of grieving that loss, you'd rather just go and not deal with it by going with somebody else. Instead of addressing the issue in your current marriage head on, you go find someone else to deal with it. Never dealing with things directly. That's what infidelity is. And I'm not saying that you need to, if you've been cheated on, you need to go, oh my God, what did I do to cause this? It's not your fault, totally. It's the fault of the two of you. Something in the relationship is not operating the way it needs to operate, and let's fix it. At least that's what I say when I see a lot of couples who deal with infidelity. I see a lot of couples who deal with infidelity, and guess what? They actually overcome it. They can overcome it. It is possible to overcome, but it takes a recommitment. So let's see what David says. Dave Rico, how to be an adult in relationships, how we can be mindful when it comes to infidelity. So the first thing you need to do is realize, okay, we haven't been dealing with issues in our relationship, and now we really need to deal with it. Okay. All right. Acquiring a new lover may be the only way to leave a relationship for someone who feels she lacks the strength to leave on her own. So maybe sometimes finding someone else is a great excuse to leave the relationship because you don't have the nerve to leave the relationship on your own. Maybe you're just over it. And really, the best thing to do is just end the current relationship you're in and then start a new relationship. That's the best way sometimes to do it. But, a new lover may be the only way to leave a relationship. Maybe you're just done and you don't want to do that. Or it may be a way of seeking satisfaction in areas of need that seems unfulfillable in the primary relationship. Maybe you're exhausted. You're just tired of trying to work on the same issues over and over again. And instead of leaving that person, you just go and find what you want somewhere else. Because you don't have the guts to leave, or you use that as an excuse. Happens. I may seek the gratification of my need for a holding environment with my wife and my needs for excitement in an affair. So maybe you missing the excitement. Hey, I see people raising their hand. I'm not certain what that means, but I see y'all raising your hand. Not sure what it means. Maybe you have a question or something. I don't know. But let me know what that means when you raise your hand. Okay. I may seek the gratification of my need for a holding environment with my wife. So I use my wife to fulfill some of the needs and my needs for excitement in an affair. Okay, your questions. Do I have Q&A? Oh, okay. I see Q&A. Put it in the Q&A if you have questions. What is the name of the book? How to Be an Adult in Relationships, The 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. And the author's name is David Rico. Rico, like Rico charges. Like that's how you pronounce it, Rico. Anyway, okay, put your questions in and then I'll look at it. How do I go back? I think I go back this way. Okay. Oh, you want to ask a question. Okay. Missing excitement, go to Hollywood. Riley's like, I've been cheating on everybody. Go to Hollywood, you miss excitement. Okay. So So yeah, it can be a way of just airing your frustration. You're just frustrated. Like, I'm trying to work on these issues. I really need to leave, but you use the relationship as an excuse to leave. That happens sometimes. Um, or you may find that your current partner can give you some of your needs met, but then you're finding that, wow, okay, this partner can meet some of my needs. My significant other, my spouse can meet my needs, but not all of them. But my needs that are unmet, I can get that met with somebody else. So maybe you feel like two people is enough to fulfill all of your needs. So why look at one person? Why not just get all my needs met? I can get this one person, my partner, to fulfill these needs, and then the needs that aren't being met, I can find somebody else to do it. That is the thinking. But I think David Rico's gonna have an answer for that. Okay. Um, I may gratify my dependency needs in marriage and my domination needs in an affair. I may gratify my dependency needs in a marriage and my domination needs in an affair. I may find mirroring of a feeling or a potential in a new partner that my preset present partner does not offer. After a while, the newness wears off, and maybe you miss the newness. You don't know how to get it back. And so you're looking at a new person for the excitement that you're missing. The new partner may also evoke the positive shadow side of me. Ooh, a hidden positive potential that may have lain fallow and unacknowledged before. Ooh, so you could be dirty with another person, but you're not able to express that side of you with your current partner. I have not seen Sister Wives. I may take a look at it. I just don't have enough, but that's interesting. Why'd you marry your partner in the first? Thank you, Linda. That's what I say. There's things you can do in your current relationship to get the excitement going. It takes work, but you could definitely get the excitement going. But that's what he's saying. He's saying that maybe your new partner evokes a positive shadow side. Remember, your shadow side is the side of you that you feel like if you shared it with your partner, they may judge you. They may say, what's wrong with you? They may say things about you that you don't like. And so that's the reason why you would be like, I don't want to talk to my current partner about it because I don't want them to shame me. But I'm going to get with somebody who has no problem with dealing with the crazy shadow side of me and won't judge me. That's what I think he's explaining here. While infidelity may be a bold and extreme measure to make the relationship tolerable, when it seems to have become endurable and intimacy seems impossible, those avoiding intimacy with their original partner will most likely keep avoiding it with a new partner. Hello. So, what's he saying? He's saying, okay, you have some issues in your current relationship and you think that you're going to go find somebody else and you can't carry those current relationship issues into the new relationship, think twice about that. Because what happens is because you play a part, you are co creating all of the problems in your relationship. Every single issue in your relationship is co created by you. So if you leave your partner and you go find somebody else and you haven't dealt with how you played a part in that, you're just going to recreate it with the new person. How about that? Did anybody think about that when they were dealing with infidelity? Did you ever think about the fact that whatever the issues are in your current relationship, you think the grass is greener, but what's going to happen is that you're just going to recreate that with yet another person. Okay. What is more, the secrecy and time constraints of an affair make intimacy ultimately impossible in that relationship, too. So, guess what? You're not going to really be fully intimate with another person while you're in a relationship with someone else because of the time commitment. You don't have the time to really connect with anybody. So what happens is that in the long run, you end up feeling lonely anyway. You end up going back to your original feeling of loneliness, not getting your needs met because you can't get it met with the new person. You're not going to get it met with the with the current person. It's just not going to happen. And eventually you're going to have to face you, the very thing that you're avoiding by seeking out an outside person, creating that triad. So ultimately, two lovers are less than one. Two lovers become less than one. You're not going to have fulfillment in both of them. Really, what you're doing is you're avoiding the real issues. No one is offering his or her entire self anywhere in the triangle. So when you get that triangle going, what song is that? You, me, and he. What we gonna do, baby? Y'all know that song? The triad. You, me, and he. What we gonna do? Thank you. I love that, Juanita. That's who it is. Tume. That song is good because what y'all gonna do? The triad is not going to equal one healthy relationship. What we going to do? Infidelity also brings up abandonment. What's it say? Abandonment terrors in the cuckolded position partner. Abandonment terror. This explains the sense of powerlessness and pain that may be so excruciating to the one left behind. The one left behind. Abandonment brings terror in that partner that's left behind. Powerlessness in this case means the inability to get someone to give us the 5 A's. Powerless. I want this person has abandoned me and I want this person to give this to me. Why can't you give this to me? The attention, affection, allowance, appreciation, and acceptance. Why can't that person give that to me? What's wrong with me? Abandonment terrors. That's a terror. And it is our clue for unresolved childhood issues. He's saying you're going to have to go back to your childhood issues if you're starting to ask yourself that question. What is wrong with me? Why can't you give that to me? It's your clue that you need to go back to childhood issues. It is useful as such a time to work in therapy. Go to therapy on the issues and grief because you're grieving that loss that have pursued us all our life and are now presenting their bill. Yeah, so a few months ago, I talked about how there's like a credit or a debt, all the things that you don't want to deal with. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the bill. So maybe infidelity in a relationship is you paying the bill. Eventually, if you don't deal with that, you're going to have to pay now or pay later. Yeah, so that we talked about that a few months ago. I thought it was really brilliant. You're going to have to pay their bill. Okay. We feel infidelity as a metaphor for what happened long ago or what has continued to happen. Loss or absence of the 5 A's. Now that person's not giving you that, what you wanted. Once we see that our anguish is not literally about this partner and her choice to abandon us, we are on the trail of our long lasting psychological material that has awaited our attention and calls for work on ourselves. Thus, betrayal by a partner can become the springboard to real growth in ourselves. Did any of y'all do that? Did any of you guys look at abandonment and infidelity as a signal to work on yourself? No, Riley said no. I did not see it as a signal to work on yourself. I don't know. I don't want to blame the victim. I don't want to blame the victim, but you're co-creating every experience in your life. So are you really a victim? Probably not. Co-creating the experience. Real growth in yourself. Ooh, child, y'all, this is heavy. In a breakup or infidelity crisis, when one partner does something big, like leaving with someone else, the other may react with something equally big, like taking up with a new partner. It is healthier for us when a big deal leads to a big look at ourselves. So the bigger the issue in the relationship, the bigger the lens needs to be on you. Ooh, not a big reaction or a big reprisal. Retaliation. How many of y'all retaliated in some way? How many of you guys retaliated after being cheated on one? Okay. Retaliation feels good to our ego, but the reflex to retaliate is a sign that the real grief is being swept under the rug. In addition, a new relationship cannot begin in a healthy way when we are using it to distract ourselves from our need to grieve. You were in shock? Okay, acknowledge that because it's shocking. But did you grieve? I think shock is really one of the first steps of grieving, being a little bit in denial, like, what is going on? This can't be happening to me. Right. So that's the first step in grieving. A truly healthy person will not enter a relationship with us when he or she sees that it entails being used in that way. Don't even get in a relationship with somebody under those circumstances. Don't even get in a relationship. So retaliation feels good to our ego. It feels, how many of y'all retaliated in some way? Y'all gonna be honest about that? How many of you guys felt the need to retaliate? I don't know. I mean, retaliation feels, acting out in anger, seeking revenge. It does feel good, but it's temporary. It's not long term. It so retaliating can mask some of the pain and sorrow that you probably feel. So you don't want to sidestep this process. Let go of the need to retaliate. Let go of the need to retaliate and instead go toward just acknowledging those feelings, but also understanding the root of them and where they come from. And that's how you get through it. So there's a pattern there, and you have to focus on having a healthier response, which is self-reflection, processing everything emotionally, and then ultimately your own healing and growth. It's hard to do. But yeah, you're far away, far away from here. I left to another city. Oh God, I did and they still didn't know. Oh, interesting. That sounds like suffering. Yeah. Dealing with your own stuff. Mm. I retaliated by leaving and never returned. He reached out to me and you didn't reach back. So you never processed that with him to find out, did you in any way stop and examine yourself? This is to some of y'all in the chat. So y'all just, as soon as the abandonment happened, you just said, I'm done. Don't talk to me no more. And they did not carry on the conversation anymore. Didn't process anything. Fascinating. Okay. So you just left. So you left without revealing that I knew they cheated. So you never told the person, Riley? Y'all just don't deal with it. Y'all avoid everything. Y'all don't want to deal with it. Like betrayal is that hard on you. Oh boy, I'm looking at the comments. Y'all are something else. Yes. You have a question Q&A. Okay, let's see. Oh, there are Q&As. Okay. Um, okay. You can't purchase the book from me. You probably have to just get it from, like I got it from Amazon or a bookstore. Okay, an anonymous person says, my husband cheated, and I was able to admit my flaws according to him, but he was not able to admit his true reason and take full responsibility. Okay, so that means he'll probably do it again. So here's the thing, if your partner cheated and you're able to look at yourself and the other person is not able to look at themselves, then you start wondering if that person is really committed to the relationship. So he's got to take full responsibility and he's got to look at himself. It really, infidelity work with couples, it's really, it's tough work and you have to slow the conversations down. And both partners have to agree to recommit themselves to the relationship. And if they don't, then we start from there. What's going on that you're not fully committed to this relationship? Are you willing to recommit? What has to happen for you to recommit yourself to this relationship? So we just didn't get the full commitment from your husband, unfortunately. So, okay, I got y'all. Q&A, got y'all Q&As. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Where did I leave off? A truly healthy person, if you're a truly healthy person, you will not enter a relationship with somebody, who hasn't gotten over their ex. Yes. Okay, moving on. In the style of neediness, I go from my first partner to a second with the first as a backup. Oh, how many of y'all do that? You go to your first partner to a second partner with the first as a backup, and then a third partner with the first and second as a backup. And in the healthy adult style, woo, that's juggling three people. So you got your main person, and then eventually, when that fizzles out, you get another main person, and then you get a third main person, and then you use your first and second as a backup. Ooh, what's going on there? Yes, a serial cheater. What's happening? They haven't seen enough Tyler Perry. Oh Lord, Tyler Perry. Lord. He should read some of this and maybe he can incorporate some of this into his stuff. Okay. So in the style of neediness. He's saying this is neediness. You're going from one partner, my first partner, to a second with the first as a backup, then to a third partner with the first and second as backups. In the healthy adult style, I go from one to none, zero. While I'm alone, I work in therapy addressing, processing, and resolving issues in myself with a plan to make changes. So, in a healthy relationship, you go from one to none, and you go to therapy and you process that. Hey, I definitely agree with that one. It is an intensely rich time for personal knowledge and healing. Ending that Endings that lead to self-exploration are painful but profitable. It's always going to be pain. The only way to deal with pain is to go through it, not dating somebody else, not sweeping it under a rug, not using retail therapy, not turning to addictions, not pursuing somebody else. The best way to deal with endings is to explore the pain because there's lessons in that. If you don't explore the pain, what happens is that you suffer. Endings that lead to self-exploration are painful, but profitable to one who is committed to personal evolution. Don't get into a relationship with someone who's not committed to personal evolution. They ain't ready for a relationship if they're not committed to that. And most wonderful of all, brokenhearted leads to open-hearted. Can I keep it that way after it mends? Brokenhearted needs to lead to open-hearted. That's tough to do. You're talking about why somebody's afraid. This whole chapter and what I talked about last week was fears that rush in and dangers too. So we're talking about all the things that you're fearful of. But being brokenhearted should lead to open-hearted, not bitterness. So many times I see a broken heart leading to nothing but bitterness. That's a sad thing to do. If I keep it that way after it mends, can I keep it that way after it mends? Often, when our partner is unfaithful, we wonder, how can he go to someone new so fast? He has been with me for years and now I am nothing. And the she of 2 months is everything. How's that possible? How can they do that? But it is not so difficult to understand. David Rico's explanation is his romantic feelings for you may have only been a projection onto you of his wish for an ideal partner. He did not want to deal with the grief. Everybody in committed relationships has to grieve the fact that they're not with an ideal partner. There's always going to be problems. Unrealistic to think that there's never ever going to be problems. So there's a grieving process. You're grieving the fact that you put all of these unrealistic expectations on your partner. And now you're dealing with reality. So there's a grief process. He has now simply projected them onto someone else. This ideal has been projected onto someone else. The new attachment is not about you or her. He is simply moving something of his own, his projection, as a light bulb that can be removed from a lamp in the kitchen to one in the bedroom. So, guess what? It's not personal. Don't take it personal. It's not about you. If anything, this is telling you not to take it personal. They're just taking one light bulb and moving it to another room. Somebody could be projecting onto you this ideal that is unrealistic. I think it's beautiful. I mean, if anything, you get to see that in Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight is an interesting show, but you get to see that in Married at First Sight. They're just projecting onto another. Oh, they're so wonderful. Oh, they're so great. Oh, they're so all of this. And they're just projecting. It's not realistic. And when you project the ideal onto another person, you don't really see the other person for who and what they really are. You're just seeing a projection of them. Anyway, Married at First Sight, they need to know. This should be required reading. If the producers of Married at First Sight and the well, there's an actual therapist in there. We send each other messages on Instagram sometimes. But if the people there on Married at First Sight were really interested in healthy relationships, they'd have them read books like this. They would have them go through conflict resolution skills. They wouldn't put them in a situation of what I consider just complete trauma. That show, I have issues with that show. I mean, it's an interesting show, but I think there's so many things that could be done better. If you really put professionals in charge of the relationship, I feel like instead of the producers being there or the cameraman being there, you'd actually have people in there actually navigating and helping the two people resolve their issues a little better. I feel they need to do a better job, but anyway. Okay. moving on, I think it'd be nice if they offered more guidance to people instead of putting them in the middle of they fly them out to Mexico and places like that and just dump them in the middle with a perfect stranger. I think the honeymoon is too soon. And they just, to me, it just is traumatizing. I think married at first sight is traumatizing. And I don't think that that's a great way of treating human beings. Just me, I care about human beings. I'm a social worker, care about feelings of other people. And I would never, even if it's the right person for you, I would never dump you in the middle of nowhere on a honeymoon and then have all these expectations. I think the odds are against you anyway, and that show does everything it needs to do to make sure you don't stay together. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, let me talk. Let me move on. And what she may offer may not match the inflated promise of his projections. So you're projecting onto another person. Sadly, this is something he may not find out until he has given up many other valuable things, like you, your life together, and unfortunately, your children. Children are definitely the casualties of a relationship that's gone sour and you're not together anymore. All right, page 179 at the bottom. It is also typical for the cuckolded partner to hear, I am in love with this new person and no longer in love with you. Could it be that in love in this context simply means an attachment that feels good, that has a bodily resonance of excitement and sexual desire, that provide a sense of certitude, that has finally found the perfect complement in himself? I am not in love with you anymore may mean I'm still attached to you, but it no longer feels good. Woo, that's heavy. For her part, a partner who is left behind may say, I should be able to go along with him having another partner. Really? Sometimes. Even though her body says, I can't stand it. Yeah, so there's a lot of women and men who can sometimes be in denial. They could know that an affair is going on and they're not ready to confront it. So sometimes they're in big denial. This 60s era training, the free love part of the 60s was not in our best interest as self-nurturing adults. Go with your body's information, recalling that a relationship is about honesty and happiness, not about enduring pain. So there's a balance here. You know, you want to be free love, but you at the same time, you don't want to be in a relationship where you have to endure the pain. And I think it's interesting because that's probably why the 60s were so free loving, 70s were so free loving because the 90s, the 50s, the 1950s were so restrictive. And some of those people saw their parents go through some really crazy things and said, I'm not doing that. I'm not duplicating that in this relationship. So the pendulum swung back into this free love. That's what I think was happening. Baby of the 70s. Yeah, product of free love. Yes, me too. Okay. Two more paragraphs and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. As for the third person in the triad, the other woman, the other man, he or she can cause great pain to the betrayed partner. A deeply spiritual practice is to decide and resolve right now. Right now, never to play the role in the future. Let someone already in a relationship bring up closure to that relationship, not merely promises of disclosure. Yes, I've seen that where they be like, he said he gonna leave his wife for me, and he'll never do that, right? He's promising a future relationship with you in the future, but it doesn't happen. That's interesting. Right now, never play the role in the future. Know what it is. Know that you're a triad and you ain't really the main person, so you have to live with that. Yes, false hope, Linda. They be giving out false hope. not merely promises of closure. Before you will relate intimately with him or not, before you relate intimately with him or not, him or her. This is a commitment to act responsibly and loving to another vulnerable human, to other vulnerable humans. I will not inflict pain on anyone else. That's spirituality in practice. So, although you don't know the partner, you have to understand that your role, being a third person, could bring pain to somebody else. And it's a spiritual thing. Like, I'm not going to be involved in this. I do not want to play a part in bringing pain to another household. I'm just not going to do that. Interesting. Finally, it's important to point out that infidelity is more than just monogamy. Infidelity also means a commitment to work problems out. This includes not reacting to one's infidelity with finality, like a lot of y'all did in the chat. I see y'all in the chat. I found out he was cheating, and so I just said, forget him, you know. You don't have to work it with finality and separation. You don't have to do that. You might need to explore the implications of what happened and work it out. I know a lot of couples, they work it out. And actually, on the other side of infidelity, after you've grieved the relationship, actually can be a very healthy relationship on the other side, better than you could ever imagine after infidelity. So, all y'all, I see y'all in the chat, all y'all said, I left him. I ain't never talked to him. Maybe you could have worked it out. Maybe, maybe not. Yes, Lori, you're right. Maybe, maybe not. It takes two people with amends given and received. So you can make amends. It's happened. I've seen it happen. When the affair ends, infidelity, no, when the affair ends, fidelity can begin again. And partners can go on together with forgiveness and new energy for a better life together. That's true. That's facts right there. You can have a new energy for a better life together. We speak, just no mingling. Well, it could have been but it takes two. Usually, when I see couples where there's infidelity, I always ask, okay, so are y'all ready to work on it? Are you open to work on what happened? Are you willing to talk about what happened openly? Are you going to recommit yourselves together? And if I don't get that recommitment, then it can be difficult to work, to get stronger. This takes egolessness, which has become easier for readers of this book who are doing the practices that lead to it. Was you expecting that today? Was y'all expecting that for infidelity? Infidelity is a signal that something is not going right in the relationship. And instead of the triangle, you work on it directly. Wasn't expecting that. Did you expect jealousy to be about hurt, anger, and fear and grief of possibly that person abandoning you? Were you expecting that? I don't know. Maybe, but I tell you what we can expect. We can expect us wrapping this up, and you can expect that. Let me see what's going on next week. Ooh, next week. I will be back next week. I think I will. Oh, you have a question. Let's see. There's a question. Oh, is there a need to be in a 65 or above class like this to discuss these issues in open group with no one? Ah, okay. 65 in a 65 age group. Huh. Huh. We got some vibrant 65-year-olds. That's interesting. Let's have to think about that. Okay, I think, Doc, that couples come into relationships with the lived experience of seeing their parents. Yes, they do. Relatives and familial community members interact. It impacts how they behave. they do what they have seen in the past or even how they were treated. I think that the Tyler Perry movie, I Can Do Bad by Myself. Think about that. I haven't seen all of that movie. That's interesting. But you're right on, Velma. Right on. Comment, in a committed relationship, the Buddhist must reside. I think so, Rhonda, personally, but the Buddha must reside. I think you need to get into a Zen place. Why deal with it if you were the woman he cheated with? Yeah, exactly. Why deal with it if you were the woman he cheated with? Ooh, okay, that's a good question. Um, how do you prevent a bitter heart? You process. He just said you deal with it, you process, you learn from it. That's how you deal with it. Wait, where is it? Um, you process it, you think about it, where is it? He says it in here. Basically, you need to have a space to process everything that happened to you. What does this feel like? What is this reminiscent of? All of that. You need to deal with it. You do that the same way you deal with jealousy. You talk about it, you identify it, you get a space where it can be validated, and then you can connect it to childhood stuff, all of this stuff. Um, let's see. Uh, that's how you get where you have a broken heart. That's how a broken heart can lead to an open heart still. Yeah, Riley, good question about are the sessions recorded? Riley is asking, are the sessions recorded? I do have all of the recordings. I do have them listed. Maybe next time I'll have a link for people to go to get the entire book because we're already on almost on page 200. I've been 100 pages in this book. Um, oh, my survey. Yes, anonymous attendee mentioned service. Yeah, let me put my I forget. I'm collecting data. I'm a I'm a researcher. I'm a researcher and I'm collecting data. Let me see if I can find my survey because I would love for you guys to fill it out. Let's see, where is it? Can I find you my survey? Um, oh, here it is. Oh, I see y'all been filling it out. I appreciate it. Participate in my study. Um, oh, yes. Okay, so uh, let me get the URL here. Participate in my study. Let me put it in YouTube. Can I join the chat for YouTube? I don't know how to join the YouTube chat. Um, hmm, I'm not sure. Okay. Well, goodbye to YouTube. I don't know how to join that. Okay, so let me put it in here. If you want to be part of my study, did y'all fill out my survey? It's all about your relationship with money. So there it is there. There's the link there. And I'll recopy the link on the people on YouTube as you're watching. You did it. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We're hoping that we could see, how good, what is the impact of Dr. Boyce's work on the people who tune in to him. Let's see if we can figure it out. What is the impact of it and what are some ways in which we could do better? All that stuff we're trying to figure out, healing and how it relates to your relationship with money. So that's all the things that we're trying to fit it out, fill it out. Can you send it out on Dr. Boyce as a text message? Yeah, he did send it out as a text message, but I'm not certain. I'm not certain how. Here he is. So anyway, thank you everybody. Next week I think I'll be around. I should be. We're talking about disappointment. How you doing? We're talking about disappointment, how to deal with disappointment in relationships. And then we'll get into practices, things that you can do to practice. You can put in your workbook. Okay, goodbye, everybody. I'm hanging out with you now. Uh-huh. All right. All right. See y'all.